Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Train Up a Child Homeschooling. This is Kathy, and today I have brought to you finally my video of all our curriculum choices for second grade for the year 2022 to the year 2023. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to cover right now slightly is our language arts 2. Now, I do already have a video on my channel where I go in depth to all the components that are part of Abeka's language arts 2. As you can see, there are a lot of components. Okay, we have our phonics and language, reading comprehension, we have our spelling, handwriting, and also our readers. Now, this is something that you can check out on my channel. I'm going to link that video on the description box below so you can check it out. And in that video I do a flip through, I do a review, my first impressions, because I've never actually used this curriculum, but we're very excited about it because my daughter loves to read, and these are beautiful readers and there's a lot of them, and we're just very excited about it because I know Abeka has a very good reputation when it comes to their language arts program. So please check out that video on my description box below if you're interested to see that, okay? Okay, so we're going to continue. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about math. Okay, so for this year, we're going to be using BJU Math 2. Now, I shouldn't say for this year. We have been using BJU Math since K5. I've used it with my daughter from K5 to second grade, and now I'm going to be using it with my son for K5. But my daughter is going into 2, so second grade. So we're going to continue with BJU for our third year. Now, one of the reasons why we love BJU is because it is spiral learning. But it is not a spiral as other math curriculums tend to be. And what do I mean by that? With Abeka's and let's say Horizons Math, their spiral learning jumps around a lot. If you've ever seen it or if you've ever done it, maybe you understand what I'm talking about. Now, that may work for some families. I think my kids would probably enjoy that. But for me, it just looks a little bit messy, just for my own brain. So BJU is spiral, but it's a more gentle spiral, I guess more, I don't know, I guess I would just say gentle. So here we have our concept, which is add 2-digit numbers. That's what the lesson is about, adding 2-digit numbers, right? And then it'll always have a review where you get to go over concepts or things that you have learned in the past. Okay, so that's what it means by spiral. It's not mastery. You're not staying on one particular topic for 10 chapters. And some people like mastery, and that's absolutely fine. For me, mastery, I don't know. For me, mastery it's just too much for me. I feel like I get bored of doing the same thing over and over again. But it works for a lot of families. For BJU, it's not mastery. It is spiral learning. And like I said, it's more like a gentle spiral. It's not constantly jumping around. See, here we have our review. There's all the time, there's reviews at the end of every chapter. And this is what it looks like. The K5 and the first grade are definitely more colorful. I do notice that the second grade for BJU has less drawings, less cartoons. And I mean, that's fine. I mean, by second grade, the child should be more mature by now, that they don't need so much, illustrations. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And I also would like to mention that BJU Math, it is not like a gentle approach to math. I don't think it is. I just think it's normal. I think it's average. It doesn't go too fast, and it doesn't go too slow either. So I do want to make a note of that, because I have seen other reviews say that it does. But I mean, this is my third year using it. And it definitely doesn't go too slow. It doesn't go too fast. It goes just right. If that makes any sense. At least for us, it does. This is the teacher's edition. And I'm going to give you guys a quick look at the teacher's edition and what it has. Now, I am pretty familiar with BJU Math's teacher's edition because they all pretty much have the same layout. Here you will have your objectives. Let me zoom in a little bit. Here you will have your objectives. Here you will have your manipulatives or your materials that you will need for this particular lesson. It'll be right here. I do want to show you really quickly. These are the manipulatives that BJU uses. They are pretty much like a hard cardstock. It's not like a big bulky manipulatives. Everything can fit, like I put it in here. Everything can fit in a little folder. They are flat, so they're good for easy storage. You have your place value, you have your numbers and your measurements. You have cards right here. I don't know if you can see it. You have your shapes, fraction shapes, money, counters. Okay, and in here I actually have my son's K5 manipulatives along with my daughter's. So I just put them all in here to just make it easy. But K5, at least until second grade. I don't know about third grade because I haven't used third grade BJU for math, but at least from K5 to second grade, they do have their own math manipulatives, which are part of the lesson. Now, you could go on and not use these and maybe make your own, or maybe just not use them at all and just do the worksheets. There are some parents that do that, but for me, at least for math, I find it very helpful to use manipulatives to really get the kids to understand the concept. At least that's just my style of teaching. And then here you have your lesson. And then this will talk about your lesson, about what you're going to talk about with your child. It'll also give you a script. The blue would be what you would say. And then also in the black, it'll tell you what to do if you need to write anything on the paper or on the board. And then the pink should be what your kids should be answering. Okay. And that continues on with the lesson here. Now you can do as little or as much as you would like. You know, you don't have to do everything that's here. I certainly did not do that. I did not do everything that was here either, but I did use a lot of it to teach the lesson. And then after we were done with the lesson, here they would do their worksheet, which would be here in their work text workbook. Okay. And you already have the answers for that here, so you don't need a separate answer key to be able to have the answers to that. So that's very helpful. And I'll also, in the beginning, you're doing some review as well, which is right here, practice and review. You do that before the lesson starts. And that's pretty much how it looks. That's pretty much the layout that it has throughout. Okay. I did purchase this used. So if you're looking to save money on a lot of these curriculums, I did get them used. So there's a lot of Facebook groups, eBay. You can find a lot of this stuff used and you can save yourself a whole chunk of money. Oh, I also would like to make a note that when I started showing you this workbook, I did not start from the beginning pages. So just to let you know that those were in the very first pages. That was more into the year. Okay. So we're very happy with it, and we're very excited to start our second year with them. For Bible, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do BJU Bible for the very first time this year. I did choose one, which is for grade 1, but since we do Bible time as a family subject, I went ahead and chose grade 1 because my son is in kindergarten. My daughter will be in second grade, so I got something that was in between. I didn't want to get something that was too simple for my daughter, but I also didn't want to get something that was too difficult for my son. So grade 1, you know, I thought that it would be a good thing to have. So this is what their workbooks looks like. In the unit 1, we're talking about God creates his world. Unit 2, God keeps his promises. God protects his people. Christmas, God guides his people. God rules over his people. God cares for his people. God strengthens his people. Easter, God speaks with his people. In this particular curriculum, we're also going to be covering some hymns. And we're going to be doing some Bible scripture memorization. So this is what the workbook would look like. So after you do your Bible lesson, the kids will just have Bible activities to reinforce the lesson. I also went ahead and bought this used. but the workbook is new. But you know, the teacher's manual is used. So I also went ahead and got that just to save some extra money. Hey, if you can find it used and it's in good conditions, go ahead and get it. No need to pay full price for something. And then this also comes with visuals which are pictures that you will be showing to your child as you tell them the Bible story. I do have the visuals, but I do not have them with me right this very moment. But they're pretty much just pictures. Okay. And then in the back we have our hymns so the kids can read along with you. Or you also have these in your teacher's manual. You have the hymns there as well. And these are the hymns that we will be learning. This is My Father's World, Anywhere with Jesus, Trust and Obey. Yeah, I've actually heard this song before. Oh, Come All You Faithful, of course, Follow On, A Child of the King, Jesus is All the World to Me, and so on. And there's more also. And then there's also some maps in the back. And then this is the teacher's edition, which is what you're going to be using to teach the lesson. It'll have the Bible story. It'll have the Bible, the scripture memorization. It'll tell you exactly what to do, when to talk about the hymns, when to go over the Bible scripture, all of that. It'll tell you exactly what to do step by step. And that's why I love teacher's editions, because, you know, sometimes I just feel like I'm not creative enough. So I just like something to tell me what to do, what to say. Makes things easier for me, makes things open and go. I don't have to lesson plan. I don't have to figure it out. I don't have to do a bunch of research. I can already have the people that have done plenty of research put this together for me, and I just follow it like a recipe. So here it'll tell you the materials. So these are things that you have to gather before the lesson. It'll tell you exactly where to find it here. This does come with a CD, which is in the back of the book. This will have lots of printables. It would have different things that you can use to supplement the lesson. Oh, I would also like to add that their math also includes a CD with printables and things to supplement the lesson. I do want to make a note of that. So here it talks about the hymn. Here you're going to cover the hymn. This will be lesson number 1. You're going to cover the hymn. You're going to do a quick little story about what the hymn, you know, about who wrote the hymn and what time period it was in, stuff like that. So that's very cool. And then here it'll talk about the memory verse that you're going to go over with your child. Here, since this is the very first lesson, they want you to cover certain doctrinal truths with the child, just in case they didn't know, about how God is eternal, about how he's the creator and things like that, basic stuff. But since it's the first lesson, they want to make sure you make the foundation. And then it continues with the Bible account. So it'll tell you exactly what verses to read, so you can read it from the Bible. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. So you can read it from the Bible yourself, or you can follow the story that they have here. And then here it would have the actual Bible story, which you can paraphrase it. Which is pretty much what they did here. They just make the Bible story in very simple terms to read to your child, or you can just read directly from the Bible. It's up to you. It also has some questions for understanding. So the black is what you say and the pink is the answer. It has some questions for understanding, and then it tells you to do the work text page. It tells you what page to do, page 1. It shows you a picture here, and it already gives you the answer. And then that would be lesson 1. So in lesson 2, it would be the same thing. Here are the materials. Visual 1A, which will be one of the visuals. Now you can buy the visuals, or you can just print it off of this CD. It's up to you. Also, it has you will also be creating a creation timeline. So you will need a separate notebook for your kids to do like a cut and paste activity where they would make their own timeline. So I think that's really fun. And then you go on into your hymn. So there is worship included. Now, I don't think I can stress enough how worship is such a vital part of our school time. Now, just like Bible is part of our school time, so is worship. So what I mean by that is we start every day when we do school, we start every day with worship, because I feel like I'm here to educate my children and just how I can teach them the Word of God. I want to also teach them how to worship God, because sometimes kids don't really understand what it means to worship, especially when you're worshiping something you cannot even see. Now, so that's something that I have come to incorporate in my time when we do our school. So this we dedicate 30 minutes of our mornings to just worship God in silence. Not that doesn't mean that we cannot sing, but that just means that we cannot talk to each other. We're not there to play games. We're not there to play jokes. This is a time for reverence and a time of awe before the Lord. Now I do, so I do encourage other moms to do that as well if you are not already doing it. But him, it's already included, so you would be doing worship with this curriculum already. Both, well, one song, a hymn that they would also be memorizing, and then you got your memory verse, which you will be covering it for a few lessons, and then you got your like questions for understanding, and then it has the Bible account, so it gives you a little preview of what you're going to be learning, and then it has the little Bible lesson, or you can read it yourself and it'll tell you exactly where to go. This one would be Genesis 1, 2 to 5. And then it tells you to do your worksheet, to do the creation timeline, and so on. So that is what we're going to be using for Bible for this year. So we're very, very excited about that. I got my son's his own book, and then this would be my daughter's or my son's, I don't know. So it doesn't matter, they're both the same. So they both have their own work textbook to work from. For history, I am doing classical conversations this year. For my first time, we're doing cycle 2. I do have a video on my page, which I'm going to link also in the description box below, where I talk about all the supplements that we're going to be using for cycle 2 of classical conversations, which covers history, covers geography, covers science, and so on. So I'm going to make a link to that. But this is this is something we're going to do before we start classical conversations, because we are going to start school before we start classical conversations. So I did want to incorporate this because I've seen so much rave about it online, and I just wanted to try it out for myself. I did buy this, guess what? Used. I know a lot of these are about used. I got this for $20 on eBay. It includes the activity book and it includes the history reader. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the inside. You can find a bunch of videos online for this, so I'm not gonna go too in depth with it, but this is what it has a few pictures, like you can see here. It does have a few pictures, but it's mostly just like chapter book, and you would be reading this to your child. It also comes with a CD if you want to just play the audio in your car, in your home, wherever it may be. And then with every lesson there is big with every lesson there is an activity to go with it. And this is also your, like, I guess your lesson plan, your little teacher's edition. So let's go to the first lesson. Well, this will be the introduction. I did get this doesn't come in this particular, like, in a binder. This comes, the activity book from My Story of the World, the Story of the World. It comes binded like a notebook, like something like this, right? It comes like this, but it is very bulky, and you do have to make a lot of printing off of it. There's a lot of things that you have to print from the book, like let's say for this, and then so it makes it extremely uncomfortable to lay that big fat book on top of a printer, on top of a scanner, so you can print it. So the mom from Pennies and Salt, she was talking about how she used this, and then so I did the same thing. I just got a big binder and I removed the binding from the book, and I was able to hole punch it and then just put the lesson together with the page that we were supposed to be printing for that day. Okay, so that way it could just open the binder and just get whatever I need to print and just print it. Okay, so this will be the first lesson. So the first lesson it tells you some references that you can go to if you want to go more in depth in the lesson. It'll tell you to get this book and go to these pages. Okay, so that's really good. It does give you some review questions after you read the story. It'll also give you a narration exercise, so more review questions and stuff like that. And then it also gives you, towards the end, it gives you read alouds that you can check out from your local library or you can buy, that would also supplement and complement the lesson. And then it'll have a coloring page. I think almost every lesson has a coloring page, and it also have an art project, like an arts and craft. Now, I did like that a lot about this particular curriculum. Now, we haven't started it yet, but I did want to incorporate a lot of arts and crafts with history, because my kids do love doing arts and crafts. I don't think we do it enough. And it also has some geography, so there's a lot of mapping involved with this lesson. And then in the lesson plan, it'll tell you exactly when to pull these out and what to do with them. So this will be an example of a coloring sheet. This is another lesson, some mapping on a coloring sheet. So almost every lesson would look like that. Now you can do as little bit or as much as you want, because remember, there is a lot of activities that go with these particular lessons. There's a lot of arts and crafts. There's even some recipes. So, you know, you can do as little bit or as much as you would like. Now, I would like to say this, that there are some coloring pages in this that are a little bit, you know, like violent. And I'm going to see if I can find some. And, you know, I just wanted to make a note of that, because I know some parents are very sensitive to things like that, and some kids are very sensitive. But there are some coloring pages in here that are extremely aggressive and violent. And I guess, you know, it's because it's pretty much trying to show you like some type of war. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Which I probably won't be doing them with my kid, because yes, I get it. Like, I want to talk to them about war. I mean, I don't want them to be clueless about that wars actually took place. And I do talk to them about wars, you know, but it's just, you know, for some reason I can't find it right now. But I just, you know, it's just not something that I would like them to color. You know, we can talk about it. Like, let's say for this. Okay, good. See, like that one. Yeah, like, we can talk about it, but I don't think I want you to color something like that. You know, it's just, it's just, you know, it's just, I don't know. I don't like that. But there are several of them that are like this. But like I said, you can just skip that. Don't do it. So we're definitely not going to be doing that. So that's just for, you know, a lesson that we're not going to be doing that coloring sheet. Now, I know a lot of moms have said, like, that this curriculum is not Christian. It does talk about Jesus. It does talk about Easter. It talks about, you know, when Christ was born. It does mention those things. So I think it is kind of Christian, because a lot of history curriculums don't talk about stuff like that. They don't talk about the birth of the Messiah. They don't, you know, they don't talk about his burial. You know, I don't know if it covers the resurrection. I think it would, but it does cover Jesus. And it even has pictures and everything that the kids were going to color. So I think it is Christian, because it is a classical curriculum. And I believe classical, it was made by Christians, like that particular philosophy of teaching. So I do want to make a note of that. But it's not like very heavy on Christianity. It does cover Christianity, but it's not like a Christian worldview curriculum, if you get my drift. Now, for social studies, I did get my daughter the ACE from social studies, which starts from 1013 to 1024, I believe. I already have a video where I go in depth of this particular curriculum, so I'm gonna link it in the description box below. But this is what she'll be doing for social studies. So this is something that she'll be doing on her own without mommy being right there next to her. And then I'll just be checking her answers when she's done. But if you want to take a greater look into social studies from ACE, please check out my channel. I do a flip through of this one and do a review about it. Now, for this is kind of like devotional type of, you know, stuff. This is from, what's her name? Not Consumed, sorry. I like blanked out there. This is from Not Consumed, and they have a series of like Bible studies slash devotionals, which I am so excited. We're hoping to do them. But this is the one that I chose to do first from them, which is called My Brother's Keeper, Learning to Love Your Siblings God's Way. And I believe like what a greater devotional to start doing than this one that focuses on brotherly love, that focuses on your siblings, so that way you can go on through the rest of the school year, loving your brother and sister, respecting them, things like that. So that's why I went ahead and got this. And this would be the one that's geared, because it's broken up into age groups. I think this is the one that's geared for the youngest, which is like 4 to 7 years old. So it will have a day one. I think it has like 21 days of like lessons, but we're only going to be doing this about twice a week. So it should last us like over 2 months, I think. So it goes into the day one. You'll have a Bible verse to read, and you're just going to go over this with your child. And there's always going to be a little activity, which would be drawing. Because of the age group 4 to 7, there's going to be a drawing activity. For the older age groups, it's more writing. Okay. Why did God create families? It has some Bible scriptures that we're going to go over. And then it has the drawing. Why did God give me siblings? So I just think this is such a sweet devotional to do with the kids, because sometimes when you're homeschooling the kids, I don't know, unless I can just speak for myself, sometimes there's the siblings fight, there's sibling rivalry, there's just I want it to be a peaceful home, even though it is peaceful for the most part. But I just feel like, look, I love my siblings because I love God. So I think this is just such a great way to start the school year. So, who knows, maybe we'll do this one every year to start the school year, to just set the tone for the remaining of the year, that we're a family, we love one another, we're nice to one another. There's no need for us to, be in competition with one another. Look, this was called about the cost of jealousy. So he talks about Abel and Cain. Look, a selfish plan. And then some drawing. Love is not selfish. So I'm just so excited. And I'm so thankful to God for Not Consumed, because they have other wonderful devotionals that I would like to do with my kids. They have one that's about being content. They have one about spending time in prayer. So, and they all have them broken up into different age groups, which is so perfect, because sometimes you find these devotionals and they're either too mature or too easy, and this one seems like perfect. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing this year with my daughter and also my son. We're going to be doing this together as a family. Now, I also went ahead and got this for my daughter at Dollar Tree. It's a doodle diary. I got this mainly, it's kind of like those notebooks that have the primary journals, I think is what they're called, that they have the space to draw in and the space to write. So it's pretty much the same thing. Space to draw, space to write. Space to draw, space to write. And then like that. So we're going to be using this probably maybe when we do our Bible time. I'll have them like, what stood out for them from the story or something like that. I'll have them draw a picture and then write their favorite thing that they learn about the Bible that particular day or something like that. I don't know. I still don't know how I'm going to incorporate it, but So I got this from Dollar Tree and I thought it was, really cute. And then I'm also going to try to incorporate this with my daughter. It's a planner. I got this from Dollar Tree as well. Now this one, I'm probably going to have to buy a new one because this one ends in the year 2022. It ends in December, but I didn't notice that. But I did want to get my daughter to be more independent. So I went ahead and got her own planner so she can keep track of what she's doing. I would also be the one coming in here and just writing like, okay, on this day, I want you to do this page to that page, this page to that page. So that way she can just look at her planner and put like a little check mark when she does finish a particular worksheet she was supposed to do that day. So I just wanted her to be more independent. She also has her own calendar, so I can, put in here what we're going to be doing, or even just have her do it. Like, okay, this day we have classical conversations. This day we have playtime. This day we have a dentist appointment. so she can just start becoming more independent and a lot more familiar with keeping track on a calendar, which is a life skill. So, just something very simple. I didn't want to get something super complicated, so I just figured Dollar Tree planner is the way to go. Well, everybody, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this. I am going to be also going to be uploading the one for our kindergartner, what I'm going to be using with him for our 2022 to 2023 school year. So, feel free to check that out, and please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more content like this. Okay? God bless.